Hey guys, week 5 already. So for week 5, we are going to focus on constructive feedback with the driving question: do I really need to be a reflective practitioner? For this week, we need to be clear on what constructive feedback is. Feedback should be supportive and helpful to identify a solution and provide alternate ways to improve. It is not a criticism and should not be viewed as a personal attack or a list of wrongdoings. While the content of the feedback may identify weaknesses and be negative, your delivery should always be constructive and must provide useful suggestions on how to improve. For clarity of expectations, before you actually watch this pre-tutorial work, we expect that you have watched the constructive feedback video. We expect that you have read the PDF relating to the video. And we do expect that you understand the required reading. And if you do not understand the content, that you will ask clarity through forum or during tutor class. For this week's priority, your reflection tool is due this Friday. And if you have plans for the holiday, you can submit it before 3 p.m. You can submit it tomorrow or tonight, but it must be submitted before 3 p.m. on the 2nd of April, this public holiday, Friday. Once you submit that, then you can now start assessing your peers' reflection. And it's now the time to start on your first 150-word feedback to the student above you and below you in the spreadsheet. So you are required to do 2 constructive feedbacks for your next assessment. Just before we go ahead with this tutorial activity, to check your spreadsheet first and make sure that the Google spreadsheet is updated with the cloud-based storage URL uploaded already. And once you get that sorted, let's go straight to the components of constructive feedback. Our driving question for this week is: do I really need to become a reflective practitioner? Based on our readings and our discussion, I believe we can all agree that yes, you need to be a reflective practitioner, as it is a key to successful teaching and learning. By being a reflective practitioner, you set your own radar in the classroom and you always think about why you do it. Think about the impact that you are making, and most importantly, going through that process of self-observation and self-evaluation. Just a recap on the 3 methods of constructive feedback, we have learned McKinsey's feedback model, where it identifies what needs to be done, describe the impact, and suggest what could be done differently. We also learned the Stanford method that generally use 3-sentence starters such as I like, I wish, or what if. And lastly, the SKS, which means stop, keep, and start. So for the stop, you will say, I don't recommend this or that. Keep. So you will tell the peer that you're giving constructive feedback what you like. And lastly, the start. So what should the person start doing? Using Miriam's feedback example, she started by acknowledging the time and care that this person has invested in their blog. She specifically said that she liked the introduction video and she enjoyed it. It's a great way to generate interest. She also commended the layout and the images and the style that the particular person used, and then state reasons as to why she liked them. She constructively provided feedback on the areas that they could improve on by stating that the person could utilize references, use a higher degree of modality, and also make sure that they reflect on the citations or references that they've used. To make sense of all this, we had a group activity: think, pair, and share. For group task, we are providing your peers constructive feedback, and your peers have to actually think, pair, and share. So with this one, you need to record your own thoughts about the sample reflection, and it's in slide 2. Identify 3 issues or items that needs more work.
An issue we had is the language is not professional or complex, and it's not written in a formal way. It's quite informal. Like Jane said before, using isn't instead of is not. A solution that they could use is to use the dictionary to look up synonyms for the basic words. However, they need to make sure that they actually understand the new words that they're going to be putting in and making sure it makes sense.
They use like a stream of consciousness, I don't even know how to say this word, like approach, like narrative style, which is just like writing whatever comes to your head. So it's like they did that, and so it kind of comes like a structure, and it's like they haven't really read over what they wrote, so they can improve that by reading what they wrote and trying to improve that.
Mine's not really just one point, it's more of all of these. Like the reflection is more like a last minute thing. I mean, some of us might do it. Like we all just quickly get done on that looks like 250 words or so. Do like 250 words, and then instead of just reading it over because you have like 10, I don't know, however long, you just submit it. They didn't really read over, and a lot of the points could just be fixed by just rereading everything.
At the end of our discussion, we have summarized the issues and the ways to improve them. For issues, they have identified that there is poor referencing and it's not in APA 7 format, lack of modality, and poor language usage. They've broken it down to poor spelling and grammar, not enough evidence or peer-reviewed references, and it then came down to poor arguments in the body. And there's also a biased view or one-sided that sounded a bit negative. There's lack of reflection, and there's not much punctuation marks, and if there is, it's the wrong punctuation marks that is used. Their ideas don't flow. The need for more elaboration. The repetition of the same sentence within the paragraph. And the supporting references needed to be improved as well. In this time, it's the in citations. And quoting a particular sentence from an article without referencing. And the usage of informal language and reference to Urban Dictionary. Specific suggestions on how to improve the issues found are as follows. So they have said that usage of Google Scholar or Legal Library for scholarly article and peer-reviewed journals to refer to. Use of pervasive words such as must or certainly. Going through the Gibbs cycle and reflecting into the mind map that we've done a couple of weeks ago for the structure. Researching both sides to compare and support the main argument. Link to personal experience or feelings to be reflective, and remember the usage of linking words and divide the paragraphs. Provide insight on how, be concise, use academic writing, also use the if this then that format, and always refer to your scholarly sources related to your ideas. Correct formatting also needs to be used, and usage of different modality in university style, and always proofread your work. So this is how they came up with the activity that is assigned in week 5. For my Friday class, your activity is to access the hyperlinked in tutorial activity number 3 in tile number 5, week 5. Read slide 2 of the constructive feedback sample presentation. And because you can get away with presenting, try to do an improved constructive feedback at home based on the issues and alternate ways mentioned by your peers. In our face-to-face classes, we watch David Kelly's TED Talk, but for the purpose of time conservation, I am not uploading the video in this recorded tutorial, so please watch the video about uplifting your creative confidence straight after watching this. And as a takeaway from David Kelly's creative confidence, we must remember to use or to make use of the opportunities in reinventing and redesigning what's not working. We must face, if not conquer, the fear of judgment or fear of being judged. And we can do that by sticking to the process, by using guided mastery, by turning fear to familiarity, and most importantly, making sure that we check on our self-efficacy to therefore to be creatively confident. To conclude this tutorial, I would like all of us to actually embrace and accept feedback gracefully. And to do so, we can ask for constructive feedback and initiate it. Ask for it often. Don't take it personally and be open. Listen fully and read the feedback with an open mind. And don't respond emotionally. Make a plan and take action. And lastly, apply the changes and be a better version of yourself to create better version of us in the future.